Welcome to The Record. I'm Katrina Szish in for Greta Van Susteren. Welcome. America 250 celebrations are well underway on this Friday, July 3rd. President Trump getting ready to deliver a speech tonight at Mount Rushmore. And in D.C., the Great American State Fair is underway, but on pause just briefly because it is so hot outside. And right here in New York City, a massive parade of ships. We have a crew on board the USS Nimitz, and we will speak with a top singer, a Grammy-nominated singer who is about to perform with a freed Israeli hostage. Also, right here in New York City, the French fighter jets flew over the area to mark Independence Day. Absolutely gorgeous. We're also apparently moments away from, guess who, the wedding between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, although some say they may already have tied the knot, but a big party happening right here at Madison Square Garden. And despite the heat, fans gathering outside the venue, despite how hot it is. Watch.
We came all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, just to celebrate Taylor's wedding and congratulate her on her big day.
I feel like so much is going on in the world. Everybody needs a little excitement.
Pretty exciting, right? We're going to check with our reporter outside Madison Square Garden in just a bit. I actually saw a big truck of Wolfer Rosé pulling up out there, so it's going to be a party. All right, as mentioned, it is very, very hot for millions of Americans right now. And it's not just hot, it is humid and muggy. As people shelter inside, the power grid is getting strained. One of those super hot cities, Philadelphia, PA. A parade scheduled for today was canceled amid the heat. Now, these people you see have been preparing for the parade. But the city still plans to host a World Cup match tomorrow, even though it's still going to be hot. France playing Paraguay at 5 p.m. Eastern. Meteorologist Julia Fife has the steamy forecast.
So many people headed to the nation's capital for America's birthday this weekend. We're taking a look at the forecast. I have some good and bad news. That system we've been keeping an eye on that was expected to bring showers and thunderstorms for the 4th of July has started to slow down, but that means the heat's going to last a little bit longer. Today, afternoon highs at around 103 degrees. Add in that humidity, it's going to be feeling around 112 this afternoon. And then tomorrow, like I said, that system's slowing down. So it's going to be warm, 101 that forecasted high. I've lowered that rain chance to about 30%. Could see a hit or miss storm heading into the afternoon and evening. I don't think it's going to be a washout, but stay weather aware. Could see a quick thunderstorm. Could delay the fireworks a little bit, but again, it's going to be hit or miss. And then heading into Sunday, I upped that rain chance. It's going to be more widespread, but temperatures cooling down, 96 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast across America. Today, temperatures very warm along the East Coast. We're expecting another round of triple digits for New York and in D.C. We've got some light rain moving through the mid-south all the way down into Florida. West Coast looking fantastic, below average temperatures and rain-free conditions. Then for the 4th of July, West Coast still 10 out of 10. We do have some showers and thunderstorms that are expected through the northern plains. You can see Minnesota, kind of that bullseye. Temperatures a little bit cooler, though, and still warm along the East Coast, but slowly starting to cool down. And then as we head into Sunday, we're going to see more widespread rain across the Northeast, again with some showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures finally going to get some relief. I'm thinking 70s and 80s along the eastern seaboard. Man, the West Coast still staying fantastic. Temperatures below average and rain-free conditions. I'm meteorologist Julia Fife.
All right, we'll be waiting for those temperatures to cool down, but don't hold your breath. All right, well, the heat not stopping President Trump. After tonight's speech in Mount Rushmore, he will fly back to Washington and give a big address tomorrow night on the National Mall.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
Joining me now, Democratic Connecticut congressional candidate Luke Bronin, co-host of Her Take podcast, Lindy Li, and CEO of London Global Strategies, Diana London. Welcome to all of you. Happy 4th Eve, I guess we can call it. Lindy, what do you hope to hear from President Trump tomorrow in his July 4th speech? He has promised it will be quite a long one and quite an exciting one.
Katrina, that's exactly right. I think he's going to highlight the dichotomy between Republicans and Democrats. Democrats hate America. They reject everything that makes us amazing as a country. As a naturalized American, I am so grateful every single day to be in this incredible country, and Democrats are losing sight of that. This is his speech tomorrow is going to be a contrast to Obama's apology tour and his endless sorries on behalf of our great nation. And Democrats are constantly defacing, tearing down, and renaming statues and also vilifying our heroes, including on our nation's 250th birthday. They have the nerve to insult people like Thomas Jefferson. And right here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there's been an ongoing battle over George Washington, because he owned slaves. My goodness, this is a father of our country, and they have the nerve to actually vilify this man.
Yeah, Diana, I do wonder, though, this is America's 250th birthday, and at a time when our country is very, very divided, for better or for worse. Do you think it is a good idea for President Trump to make a potentially divisive speech between us and them, meaning between Republicans and Democrats or even communists? We're hearing he might mention that. Or do you think this should focus on the country as a whole and how far we have come in 25 years?
Yeah, well, between tomorrow and tonight, there's no more fitting backdrop than Mount Rushmore to celebrate America's 250th birthday. It's a monument to leadership, courage, and the idea that ordinary people can build the most extraordinary nation in history. America isn't perfect, but we've consistently expanded freedom, created more opportunity than any country on earth, and inspired millions around the world. So I believe the message tonight and tomorrow should be one of confidence that our best days are still ahead when we believe in American exceptionalism, economic freedom, and the Constitution.
Luke, as I just mentioned, we are hearing reports saying that President Trump will take aim at communists in his speech. Now, you're favored to win your primary. As we said, you're running, favored to win in the general election. Now, you could very well be serving with some of these socialists that you're looking at there right on your screen. What would you say to them when it comes to their socialist policies, maybe even their communist policies that increasingly it seems like they are? Do you think they're trying to ruin the country?
Let me just start by responding to what Lindy said. She said that she expects the president tomorrow on our 250th anniversary to talk about the divide between Republicans and Democrats. I think she's probably right. I think we'll also probably hear a lot about him. He can't give a speech without making it all about him. And I think that's a really sad thing. This should be a moment that's about uniting our country. It's about celebrating our history. And I think there's probably no less fitting place for him to speak than at Mount Rushmore. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a monument to 4 great presidents who we remember because of everything that they gave to this country. And Donald Trump's main concern is what he can get, which we now know is to the tune of $2 billion since he became president.
Yeah, Luke, I think that's a matter. I understand what you're saying, but I think that's a matter of opinion. But we're talking specifically about the president speaking in Washington, D.C. tomorrow night. But also, my question, though, what about some of these socialists who are running and winning these primaries? All I keep hearing from a lot of Democrats that I interview at Newsmax saying, well, our tent's really, really big. There's no internal scuffle. It'll be just fine. But a lot of the ideologies within or underneath that big tent seem to be quite different. I wanted to get your thoughts since you're running.
I think what should concern Donald Trump is the fact that most Americans of every party understand that this economy is just not working. You've healthcare system that is broken.
But what about the socialist? What about the socialist policies? That's specifically what I'm asking about.
What I'm saying is when an economy is broken, people turn to other things for answers because the Trump administration is not offering any other than to make it worse, pushing prices higher. The housing crisis is as bad as it's ever been. The healthcare system is broken. People want a government that's actually fixing their problems. And what they're seeing is a government where the president is enriching himself and making everybody else's problems worse. And so it shouldn't be a surprise that people are turning to other answers. But the response shouldn't be to politicize it. The response should be to fix the problems that Americans are facing.
All right, that may be your response, but I just thought if you're running against socialists who also are more communist, you might want to set yourself apart or maybe align with them. I wasn't sure. But again, all a matter of opinion in terms of what people think about President Trump. We certainly have yours. Lindy, Diana, I know you shared yours before. We appreciate all of you. Have a great 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up, some House Democrats are trying to rain on President Trump's parade. They claim there is fraud in Freedom 250. Meanwhile, the party is on right here in New York City. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous view. We're going to take you live to the USS Nimitz on the Hudson. That when the record continues. Stay there.
Where's the admission desk at your hospital? You may need it sooner than you think. It's the middle of the night and you, your spouse, or your child is sick, high fever, can't keep anything down, and getting worse. Now you're waiting in the ER, and everyone gets seen before you. And when I finally see you and order prescriptions, you still have to wait for your pharmacy to open and hope they have what I prescribed. This is the medical emergency kit. It's stocked with essential medications, including amoxicillin, generic Z-Pak, and ivermectin. Now you have the right medications when you need them. And it's why I and so many of my colleagues have medical emergency kits. It's like having an urgent care and pharmacy in your home. Just fill out a brief online medical intake and your kit, prescribed by a licensed provider, is shipped to your door. Here's how to order.
Order your kit now and save $45. Visit urgentcarekit.com/news. That's urgentcarekit.com/news.
When Conor McGregor fights, you're witnessing something once in a lifetime.
Surprise, surprise, the king is back! All my life I want money and power. Oh! Conor McGregor transcended the sport! Max Holloway! That's a real warrior! I'm right here! You're in for a treat!
McGregor versus Holloway, Saturday, July 11. Free with your subscription, only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to The Record. I'm Katrina Szish in for Greta Van Susteren. Well, right here in New York City, something big is happening for America 250, and it officially kicked off today. Hundreds of ships are involved in the Sail Forth 250 event. Also standing by, the USS Nimitz. It's the world's longest-serving aircraft carrier. And joining me from on board the USS Nimitz is U.S. Representative for UN Management, Ambassador Jeff Bartos, along with Grammy-nominated platinum-selling artist from the band Five for Fighting, John Ondrasik. Gentlemen, welcome. I appreciate you standing out in the heat for us. The shot looks gorgeous, but I know the heat is not cooperating today. All right, John, I'm going to start with you. Thrilled that you're performing. It's going to be tomorrow. We know part of this program is you performing your mega hit Superman alongside a freed Israeli hostage, Alon Ohel. Tell us how important this moment is for you and why you decided to do it on this very big birthday for the country.
Well, it's truly an honor of a lifetime to be able to be here on the historic Nimitz, surrounded by thousands of sailors, singing my song Superman that recognize the heroes of 9/11. We will have actually some firefighters here who are on stage with me at the Concert for New York, wounded warriors, Gold Star families. So to be able to personally salute them, recognize them, they are the heart and spine of the blessings that is America. So a true honor, and we can't wait. And I got to give a shout out to Mike Waltz and Jeff Bartos, because we would not be here without these two amazing men.
Well, they are pretty amazing guys, and I have to give full disclosure here. Ambassador Bartos, a.k.a. Jeff, we grew up in the same town, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, so thanks to Ambassador Bartos for bringing this to us right here on Newsmax. But this event is considered the largest ever flotilla of tall ships from dozens of countries, all for America. How'd you pull this off, Ambassador?
Well, all credit to the Navy. My role here, 4 or 5 months ago, Ambassador Waltz asked me to lead our missions effort. He's our chief of mission and my longtime friend and colleague. And he asked me to lead our missions efforts to support the Navy here in New York for the International Naval Review, the International Aerial Review, and of course, Freedom 250, America's 250th celebration. And you know, Katrina, day to day, I'm there in the halls of the UN fighting for reform and trying to put the UN on a major diet. So this was a wonderful night job or a weekend job to work, a real joy and pleasure to work with John and Alon and work with the Navy and put this all together. And I just feel like a little kid here. I have to tell you, I can't believe we're standing on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier in New York Harbor, looking at the Statue of Liberty. It's just, it's an amazing thing. And tomorrow alone, who spent 700 days in the dungeons of Gaza, and is alive today because of President Trump, and only alive because of President Trump, and those hostages who came home in that dramatic and historic peace deal in Gaza in October, the Sharm el-Sheikh peace deal. He's here. He's going to be playing with John, who dedicated the song to Alone in the Hospital. Let him tell about it. But it's so inspiring and so amazing, and to play a small part in that is really an honor.
Absolutely. All right, John, tell us a little bit about that, and also your message to America for our 250th birthday.
Well, as Jeff said, you know, Alone is alive because of America. He's a true miracle. But you know what? America has a history of making miracles. We've been doing it for 250 years. We're the greatest nation to ever exist on this planet. Do we have our faults? Of course we do. But there's never been a better force for good, for liberty, for human rights. And we're going to celebrate those who give us those human rights. And that is our troops, our sailors, our veterans. So to me, this is what this holiday is about, recognizing those who give us these blessings every day.
A true patriot right there. Ambassador Jeff Bartos, did you ever think when you were a young kid in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, that we would be here doing what we're doing here on the same day that fellow Wyomissing girl Taylor Swift happens to be getting married right down the street at Madison Square Garden? Kidding about that part. But hey, you know, Wyomissing, PA, pretty great people. What do you want to say to the country on this very, very big celebration?
Well, Berks County, Pennsylvania is certainly representing in the Big Apple today and over this weekend. But what I'd say is 250 years ago tomorrow, 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honors to bring forth this magnificent country. As John said, we are the shining city on a hill. We are the beacon of hope. We are the last great hope for freedom in the world, and the whole world looks to us. And so that coming from Philadelphia 250 years ago, right forward to today, and for the next 250 years, America will continue to lead and to represent the United States at the United Nations under the leadership of Ambassador Waltz, Secretary Rubio, and President Trump is the honor of a lifetime. And just being here is absolutely incredible. I never would have imagined that we'd be having this conversation, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful. And I wish everybody a blessed and happy July 4th and a happy 250th birthday to our remarkable country.
All right. Well, Ambassador Jeff Bartos, thank you for bringing Newsmax right up close and in the front row to this incredible event. John Ondrasik, thank you for all you do. Both of you true patriots. I can see your enthusiasm. It might be hot out there, but something tells me you might also have goosebumps. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Katrina.
All right, now I'm going to bring in host of America Right Now, Tom Basile. He is wearing patriotic socks, along with senior communications advisor for True Social, Trump Media and Technology, our friend Katie Zacharia. Nice to see these two smiling faces here with me. Katie, you were on with me with American Agenda right before this. Tom, I've been talking to you all day. Such an epic weekend. I think now that it's finally here, it's almost hard to wrap my head around it, because there are so many things that are a source of pride about this country, personally and more broadly.
You know, we keep on hearing over and over from the left-wing media and from everything that kind of comes through our phones just how divided this country is and how angry people are. But I talk to people all the time who are thrilled, and people on the streets are wearing America 250 gear. Folks are flooding into Washington, D.C. and here to New York and Philadelphia. And I think people really are embracing this moment. I'm not quite sure that the media narrative is what they say it is. I think people are very proud of this country, and patriotism's a lot stronger.
Yeah, and Katie, this is something we've talked about a lot. You know, just because there happens to be a Republican president in the White House right now, a president who a lot of people don't like. That's typical of a president. Not everybody feels the same way, but that doesn't mean that suddenly we should not love this country and everything that it is and has come to be over the last 250 years. And it seems that Republicans say, no matter who is in the White House, I love America and I'm going to celebrate every minute. Democrats, it seems like it's almost more fun for them to be negative. I don't understand that.
Absolutely, but you look at those off years, especially when Joe Biden was in office, and it was every American on their boat with an American flag or flying American flags in front of their house. Why? Because they love America. It doesn't matter who's president. And President Trump has brought back a love for this country, and I don't think the Democrats know what to do with that, because we were starting to really dip down to these are the kind of last days of American empire, that this conversation that America's big light is dimming and China's the next big empire to rise up. And President Trump's like, absolutely not. We're not going to settle for mediocrity. We're going to go into American greatness at this 250-year mark. And I was reflecting with my kids on what it would be like if Kamala had won. And so grateful. My 4 kids are like, we're so grateful President Trump won because he loves America. And thank goodness he has exuded that to the nation and to the world.
Very much so. And as you both pointed out, the Democrats sort of are trying to sort of dampen the light of this celebration to the point where Democrats on the House Natural Resources Committee, Tom, they're actually accusing Freedom 250 of corruption and fraud. I want to share what the report alleges. Quote, a gift solicited in the name of the nation's bipartisan birthday commission could thus be redirected without the donor's knowledge by an entity created to serve the president's priorities. What laws might be in question here? I know this is something a lot of Democrats have been trying to, I'll say, poison the celebratory narrative with as much as they can. Is there anything to this?
Look, what we don't know. First of all, they tried to do this with the Trump inauguration. They ruined a lot of people's lives. It never really went anywhere. But it just goes to show you they're seeing how successful this is. And in 1976, by the way, the bicentennial, for all of the supposed unity that we had back then, the bicentennial was kind of a flop. Washington Times was reporting this morning that only 16.8 million visitors came to D.C. This year, this is wildly successful, and it's going to far surpass 50 years ago in terms of people coming to our nation's capital and celebrating together, and particularly in a post-COVID era, that's so incredibly important.
Does that have anything to do with the
country.
World Cup? I have to ask.
But the folks who are coming here for the World Cup, they're having a great time.
Oh, and they're thrilled. I've seen those fun commercials where they're thinking air conditioning and hot dogs and ice cream. This is a great country.
So you're going to see a lot of smoke screens like this because it's like they have to sort of invent controversy to try to distract, unfortunately, from the fact that this has been very successful for the nation. But because Trump is president, as you said, anything that has anything to do with him has to be deemed a failure. And that's really sad.
It is sad. You know what? And we've heard of Debbie Downers. We're going to call them Demi Downers. Get it? Democrat Downers. We're not going to have any of it. All right, Tom, Katie, thank you. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
All right. And now we go back to the USS Nimitz, where celebrations continue, and they're happening this weekend for America 250. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Michael Waltz, joins me now. He is on board that ship. Ambassador, thrilled to have you with us here on American Agenda. And we just spoke to Ambassador Bartos, as you know, and of course, John Ondrasik. And boy, oh boy, they were like 2 little kids thrilled at this event. Tell me why this is so important and such a big deal right here in New York City.
Well, I mean, here we are on this platform of America Power with 4,500 sailors who have literally just completed a tour around the world, including in the Middle East. And for one thing, to be able to thank them, to be able to share America's 250th birthday with them. But then finally, as a diplomat, when we sit on the world stage and we talk about American interests, when we talk about our values, when we talk about keeping our waterways and our trade routes and our economies free and open, our adversaries know, especially with President Donald J. Trump, that the big stick of the United States military is standing right behind us. As diplomats, he would always prefer a path to peace, but he is prepared to put all options on the table in line with an American first foreign policy and in line with American interests. And, I got to tell you, as a former Green Beret who is, a land warrior, when you've got one of these babies sitting offshore with the jets and the firepower that it brings, our enemies sit up and listen, and they listen loud and clear.
And now, of course, I can tell that there is definitely a lot of pride and a lot of excitement standing there on the USS Nimitz. But when you, again, are standing there after you have served, as you said, as you were a Green Beret in the U.S. Army Special Forces, does it bring you back to any specific moment? How do you feel? Is time stood still? Does it seem like it has, being back there?
You know, in so many ways, I wish I could do a whole show on this with you. You know, the average age of these sailors that make this behemoth of a ship, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with over 80 jets on it, the average age of the sailor is just over 20 years old. They were literally born after 9/11 as we approach the 25th anniversary of 9/11. So that's one thing, just shaking these sailors' hands and thanking them. They are willing to fight and die for the values of our republic that we're going to celebrate on its 250th anniversary. That's amazing. Being here in New York is amazing. We're joined by a whole coalition of our allies here. That's incredible. But I think, you know, what really brings it home to me, and now being a diplomat and representing the country and President Trump's foreign policy, I think about the men and women that I didn't bring home as a Green Beret. I think about the policy drift of those endless wars that we fought in my generation, and it makes me all the more determined to use words whenever we can and not bullets, to work for a president of peace that puts diplomacy first, and just how important and the responsibility that when you talk to these sailors that are counting on us to get the policies and the goals and the objectives right for the American people, it's amazing to be with them, but it also brings that responsibility home loud and clear.
And Ambassador, before we let you go, what is your message to Americans on our 250th birthday?
Well, one, being here on this ship, just know that there are tens of thousands of soldiers, sailors, Marines out there on that wall of freedom right now as we speak, as they enjoy the 4th of July. But then putting it in the context of history, I just remind everybody that for the entire course of human history, thousands of years, it was kings and queens and czars and emperors that determined our freedoms, that determined what liberties that we had, even determined where you could work or what caste you were in or who you could marry. Our founding fathers in 1776 said no more. Your liberties, your freedoms come from God, and we, the people, will decide what rights government has over our lives. And the entire world has been all the better for it. So to represent the world's oldest democracy and to celebrate its 250th birthday is something that I hope sends a shiver up every American spine, and we can never, ever take those freedoms for granted.
Yes, goosebumps here aplenty despite it being over 100 degrees outside of New York City. Ambassador Michael Waltz, we appreciate your service and everything you do. Thanks for joining us on The Record.
All right, thank you.
Well, coming up, President Trump says it will be the biggest fireworks display in history. One of the organizers from this family business who's putting that show on joins me next when The Record continues. Stay right there.
Our founding fathers believed in God and trusted in Him to free our new nation. George Washington escaped death and capture many times. Was it divine intervention? Watch God and America's 250th on Newsmax.
When it comes to my daily heart health supplement, I've got 3 rules. It's got to be plant-based, it's got to be doctor recommended, and it's got to be Super Beets from Human.
Super Beets is the #1 cardiologist recommended beet brand for heart health support with clinically studied grapeseed extract for nearly 2 times more effective blood pressure support than diet and exercise alone.
Super Beets works. I swear by it, and I know you're going to love it too.
Try Super Beets today at human.com.
The next thing that I heard was you have to have surgery immediately or you have 4 months to live.
Our world changed that day. Every 15 seconds in America, someone like Jay hears the words, "You have cancer." But your monthly gift helps fund the cancer research that saves people's lives. Donate today, and we'll send you this free t-shirt. Cancer won't wait, and neither can we. Donate today.
My dad has never been in better shape. He had a stroke,
and passed away. He had a life insurance policy. Ethos.com. In 10 minutes, you can be covered with life insurance.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
I am naturally biased because I just joined Ridge as the chief creative partner, but I'm just going to speak facts here. It's slim, it's RFID blocking, it's awesome, it's comfortable, I love it. I carry it every day. And then every wallet at Ridge.com has like an unlimited lifetime warranty, so you don't have to worry about it falling apart. Check it out at Ridge.com.
It was supposed to be the perfect gateway. Instead, it became an open door for cyber criminals. But that threat stops right here. Built by Americans for America. PC-Matic defends our homes, our businesses, and our government. Don't let them compromise your identity. Get our all-in-one solution today. Visit PCMatic.com.
You can't find a ranch style with a view.
And a mom-in-law suite.
More realtor agents recommend Realtor.com. With their expert new search tool, just search it like you'd say it.
Room for mom.
And Reba. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Don't kibble your dog.
Hey, Dr. Marty.
Hey, back.
What's wrong with this?
Let's check it out. It's still kibble, which means they're ultra-processed. At Dr. Marty, we freeze-dry premium meats, fruit, and vegetables, and it's available at your local pet store.
It's fun for me to win on the course, but it's even more fun to win on Deal Dash.
Lori won $2,000 Tiffany earrings for just $1, and Joseph won an iPad for just $6. There's millions of fast auctions, so try today at DealDash.com for $50 of free credit and your first win guaranteed.
Your house might not be a mansion, but it still deserves a $19 pro home cleaning. Your cleaner will scrub everything from your toilet to your stovetop. Your whole place will be vacuumed and dusted. Honestly, you might think the price is too good to be true, but once you try it, you'll never go back to cleaning the house yourself. Pick a date, choose your cleaner, and book your first cleaning today for only $19.
Back to our nation's capital. Today, the Great American Fair in Washington, D.C. had to pause until 5 p.m. Eastern due to the extreme heat, with temperatures reaching over 100 degrees. Still, despite the heat, President Trump tomorrow plans to give a, quote, really long speech on the National Mall. After the speech, Trump plans the biggest fireworks show in history. The 4th of July fireworks show in Washington, D.C. will be put on by the Western Pennsylvania-based family business Pyrotechnico, and Pyrotechnico president Rocco Vitale, and also national security contributor and former DHS senior advisor Charles Marino join me now. Welcome to both of you. Rocco, I was thrilled to have you join. I'm from the other side of the state in Pennsylvania, and I was seeing all these articles about what you and your brother and your family have been doing. First of all, you put on some next level events, but you happen to be tasked with one that's kind of a big deal, of course, the July 4th fireworks in Washington, D.C. Now, if I'm correct, 850,000 fireworks shells expected to be launched. Now, that would be enough to break the Guinness World Record. So no pressure. How are you guys planning for this big event? What goes into it?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited to be here. You know, my family's been doing this for a long time, and I was saying earlier that, you know, some of my earliest memories were when I was a kid doing the DC fireworks show when my father ran the business, and my brother runs it now. But we're super excited. I mean, we've been working with the team for, you know, early part of this year, getting the show put together, and, you know, what we have put together is nothing short of amazing, and we're really excited for tomorrow night.
And you're waiting to, you do you believe you're going to break that world record?
Yeah, it's all going to get verified. The product's out there. We've verified it, and we're can't wait to shoot it and can't wait to see it all come together.
I love it. And so big, Chuck, that this is the first Independence Day celebration designated a national special security event. Obviously, your former Secret Service, you work in security. So what does this qualification actually tell us about how big the event is, but also about the current threat environment, especially since we know the president has even said he's going to deliver a really long speech tomorrow?
Yeah, huge event involving the attendance of the president, likely the vice president, and other dignitaries, and for events that are taking place not just on land, but also in the air and on the water. So how does all the security for this get coordinated? You alluded to it, that the Secretary of Homeland Security designates the 250th celebration as a national special security event, puts Secret Service in charge to coordinate all of the resources from the federal government, from state and local governments as well, not just from the Washington, D.C. area, but also the entire national capital region will come in and pitch in and help. There'll be closure of airspace. There'll be closure of waterways, closure of roadways, so that attendees can really attend in a very secure and controlled environment. And then lastly, the American people need to play a role here. Those that are attending need to serve as the ultimate force multiplier for law enforcement, like they do each and every day. So if they see something that stands out to them, call it into law enforcement and let them make the decision on it.
Now, Rocco, I want to get into some of the logistics here. First of all, as you said, all the materials. How does everything get? I guess it goes from Pennsylvania to D.C. I'm guessing some sort of trucks. When does it go? When is everything set up? How many people does your team have on the ground? How is everything queued and coordinated? And will you be there to make sure it goes off without a hitch?
Yeah, well, I am in D.C., so super excited to be here. Yeah, it was all originated from our headquarters in Western Pennsylvania, and we also have a facility in Indiana that contributed a lot to this. And basically, it was trucked here. The team started last Monday, not this week, but the week before Monday. There's over 60 pyrotechnicians here, and they've been working, diligently and safely to put the show together and execute an amazing display. It'll all be controlled by computers, essentially control everything. So there's multiple sites around the city, and there's 8 barges. There's both sides of the reflecting pool, and then there's the West Potomac site. So it'll all be controlled computerized.
Absolutely incredible. I'm going to be watching the fireworks here in New York City, but you better believe I'll be watching them also on TV down there in D.C. I'm sure you guys are going to crush it, as you always do. Rocco, we appreciate it. Chuck, thanks for telling us what goes into all of this planning so Americans can stay safe. Happy 4th, and let's get that world record broken for fireworks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, coming up, wedding of the century or a major inconvenience? Depends on who you talk to. We are reportedly moments away from Taylor and Travis tying the knot. We're going to have a live update from that venue when the record continues. Stay right there.
This is a bottlenose dolphin, and this is the breakthrough nutrient doctors discovered that helped some dolphins age healthier than others. It's called C15, and the more they had in their diet, the healthier they aged. Now, over 100 peer-reviewed studies later, Fatty 15 is bringing this discovery out of the ocean into everyday life to give your cells the same age-related benefits as all those happy, healthy dolphins. Fatty 15, healthy aging for all.
Some people think just because you have a disability, they put limits on you, but you have to prove them wrong.
You are not what society thinks of you. You are so much more than that.
Donate $15 a month to Special Olympics to get someone with an intellectual disability onto the playing field and give them the chance to show the world what they can do.
I did it! Yeah!
Go online, call this number, or scan right now.
What if you're sick at home or traveling and can't get medical help or prescriptions? Doctors say a medical emergency kit is the answer. Joining me is Dr. Drew.
Thank you. And yes, these kits put you in charge of your health. They come with physician-prescribed medication to treat multiple common and some serious issues as well.
What are some examples?
Sure. Generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, other essential antibiotics and antivirals that treat flu, pneumonia, strep, ear infections, sinus infections, urinary tract infections, and more.
So it is like urgent care and a pharmacy at home?
Exactly. No waiting, no pharmacy, no copays. You feel better faster and avoid serious complications.
How do you know what medicines to take?
You just match your symptoms to the doctor-written guide or schedule a quick telehealth call.
Sound advice. Order online in minutes at the website below and save $45. Thank you, doctor.
Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code news.
shopping.
I was lying on the grass of Sunday morning of last.
Yummy.
Indulging in my self-defeat.
As if.
Fantastic.
That's what I've been saying.
I got sand in my butt. I can't hardly walk.
You steal my sunshine.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
My heart has experienced life-changing wins, losses, and countless miles. To keep living at my speed, I trust Cunol CoQ10. CoQ10 is the #1 cardiologist-recommended supplement for heart health. Cunol, the brand I trust.
A live look at Madison Square Garden right here in New York City. We are reportedly moments away from the start of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding there. And our co-host of Wake Up America Weekend, Kyle Lowder, is live outside of the big event space, MSG. Kyle, what can you tell us?
Hi, Katrina. Yes, it's the big day. Officially, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce will get hitched in that building right behind me, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, right here in Midtown Manhattan. And the fans are out here in droves.
I knew that she was going to get married in New York, but I had no idea where. So I can't believe it. I'm actually shook and I'm so excited.
I think it's pretty cool. It's a big space and it'd be a pretty sick wedding.
I hope she's happy and has fun. What do you guys think?
I think they'll be happy together.
So following an intimate rehearsal dinner with around 100 guests last night in the Emphasis Theater, it's actually inside Madison Square Garden. The main event, the wedding itself, scheduled for obviously this evening, featuring very strict, heavy security and the reception extending into the early morning hours. Over 130 NYPD officers will be on hand. They are on hand as we speak to keep the peace and facilitate the closed streets around the arena to control the access. Now the schedule, today's main festivities will kick off. They have kicked off actually. 4:30 p.m. is the cocktail hour, followed by the wedding ceremony at 5:30. Then the reception kicks off at 6:30. Production crews have transformed the garden, decking it out in very specialized event lighting, custom stages, lush decor. Some sources say it's going to have a whimsical garden party type vibe. Lobster, lamb, chicken, onion rings, French fries, all on the menu. And superstars Stevie Nicks and Tim McGraw are rumored to be performing. The guest list, of course, is the elite of the elite. High-profile celebrities have been seen in and around town at the area's airports and hotels. And the head count for the wedding itself speculated to be around 1,000 people. Now, the arrivals have just begun. I think every black SUV on the face of the planet is behind me on 7th Avenue here. They've actually closed down 7th Avenue from 31st Street all the way up to 33rd, over to 8th Avenue, and then 6th. And I'll tell you, the New Yorkers are not happy about it. It is really snarling traffic in Midtown Manhattan. And one more thing, 130 police officers, like I said, NYPD, that price tag is 160 grand. So no word yet on whether the newlyweds will reimburse New York City for that. But in the meantime, back to you.
All right, Kyle Lowder, we will be following this event through the wee hours of the night. No surprise. Well, the NYPD is working 12-hour shifts. Lots of them out there, but it's not only because of this epic wedding.
We continue to operate in a heightened threat environment. At this time, there are no specific and credible threats, and we are taking every possible precaution to safeguard our city.
Retired NYPD Detective Tom Smith and former NYPD Intelligence Officer Christopher Strom join me now. Obviously, a lot going on in the city, that little wedding that we've been hearing about. Also, of course, the World Cup ongoing. Lots happening for America 250 celebrations. Plus, hey, it's New York City. Tom, so heightened threat environment, but no credible threats. We hear from the mayor. What does that even mean?
Well, it means that the threat level is probably what it has been all year and in the few months. Listen, New York is always on a heightened alert, no matter what's going on, whether it's the 4th of July or whether it's just a Wednesday. So, and the NYPD is the best at doing this. There's no organization better at large events like this in the city, and they'll handle it just fine.
I mean, it's the best country in the city, dare I say, as a 30-year New Yorker officially tomorrow. So I'll be celebrating here as well. But also, I mean, it's such a big city. So many events here all the time. Millions of people coming and going all the time. So, Christopher, I mean, if it can't be handled here, it can't be handled anywhere, to kind of borrow a line from a song.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. And just to echo what Tom is saying, the NYPD Intelligence Division is a world-renowned intelligence collection, period. We have the greatest human resource and collection people in the world. Our resources and our databases are sought throughout the world in terms of real lifetime threats operating anywhere in the world. So, like you say, if it can't be protected here in New York City, it can't be protected anywhere.
And well, let me tell you, after 30 years as an official New Yorker, I feel safe every single day, thanks to the NYPD and to our excellent detectives, Detective Tom Smith, Officer Christopher Strom. Thank you and happy 4th.
You too, Katrina.
Happy 4th.
All right, well, coming up, how are dogs and horses helping veterans, our furry friends and protectors? We're going to tell you more when the record continues. Stay right there.
I'm Terry Collins, former manager of the New York Mets. I do everything I possibly can to help the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. It's because of what Tunnel to Towers does every day to help our first responders, our military and veterans. What Tunnel to Towers has done, it's incredible. Just $11 a month will make a big difference. Go to T2T.org for more information on how you can help transform lives. Let's go Mets, and let's support Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Have you ever thought of getting a walk-in tub for you or someone you love? Now is a great time to take a look at getting a Safe Step walk-in tub.
With Safe Step's standard heated seat and new fast fill faucet, you can enjoy a nice warm bath up to 20% faster. And the convenient touchpad control is right at your fingertips.
Each tub comes standard with a dual hydrotherapy system. The 10 water jets can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and improve sleep, while the MicroSoothe advanced air therapy system oxygenates and softens skin.
Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of bathing again.
So call now for more information and a free no-obligation consultation.
When you call today, you'll also receive our limited time offer. Don't wait to enjoy safer bathing. Call 1-800-296-0431.
There's a power within each of us. When awakened, it can boost performance, enhance learning, even help you work smarter. And you can unlock it with one simple thing: better sleep. Sattva provides that with our luxury mattresses, handcrafted with premium materials in our American factories. We even deliver to any room in your home for free. Sattva, you deserve the comfort of a great night's sleep.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. Samaritan's Purse is responding to the deadly earthquakes that struck Venezuela on the 24th of June. 2 back-to-back earthquakes. Hundreds and thousands of people have been injured. Thousands of people are missing. The people are hurting. Samaritan's Purse has taken a field hospital. We've got doctors and nurses, and we're responding right now to the people that have lost so much. We've taken water purification. We've taken solar lights, a lot of things. We need your prayers and we need your help. God bless you.
Welcome back to The Record. I'm Katrina Szish in for Greta Van Susteren on this July 3rd. As we celebrate 250 years of American independence, we can't forget about the heroes who have kept this country and Americans free, our veterans. With the help of rescue dogs and horses, our next guest helps vets readapt to life after their service. Sports journalist and founder of Hounds, Heroes and Horses, Bonnie-Jill Laflin, joins me now. Thank you so much for joining me here. Dogs, horses, veterans, all of those three things individually are incredible, but you realized that bringing them together is incredibly important. What made you decide to do that?
Absolutely. I combine both my passions, which is rescuing animals and then helping our men and women in uniform. After doing 20 USO tours overseas, downrange, Afghanistan, Iraq, I realized how our veterans needed our support after their deployments. And so it was my mission to be able to help our disabled veterans and law enforcement as well.
Incredible. Now, so tell me a little bit about what you do every day. So you rescue dogs and then connect them with veterans. How does that all play out?
Yes, ma'am. So we rescue dogs from the shelters that would otherwise be euthanized. There's such a high risk of dogs being put down right now. And then we train them as therapy dogs and service dogs as well. And then we pair them up with our veterans. We also do that with horses, rescuing horses and doing equine therapy as well on my ranch here in Fort Worth, Texas.
I've heard so much about how impactful equine therapy and also service dogs can be to veterans, whether it's PTSD or other issues that they may be experiencing after trying to come back into society in their everyday lives. What are some of the most poignant moments that you have observed?
I think, we had one Marine that had been blown up by an IED, and he wasn't able to function in society, even be able to do the simple tasks of going to get gas, going to the bank, even being able to sleep in his own bed. He'd sleep in the closet. And then after pairing up with a dog, he was able to reconnect with his family, his wife, be able to go to soccer games with his son, be able to do the errands that we said that we take for granted. And just because this dog and the animals have a way of rewiring the brain, reducing stress, helping them feel that there's unconditional love, no judgment. And we've just seen phenomenal results of how this works. And so instead of pumping these veterans up with pharmaceutical drugs, we have these animals that can really change everything for these veterans.
Now, Bonnie, how do you make the matches essentially when you find a dog who you feel can help, and then there's a veteran who needs help?
Yes, we have so many dogs that we pull from the shelter. Not all of them will end up being a service or a therapy dog. Some will just go to military families. And so what we do is we see what the veteran is in need of. Is it TBI? Is it PTSD? Is it just an emotional therapy dog? Is it a dog that's going to have a certain skill set to be able to help the veteran, whether it's seizures or whatever it might be? So we really just kind of figure out and see which dog is going to be the best. And once we're able to figure out what the veteran wants, they go through the full-blown training, and we do the matchup there. And then sometimes if it still doesn't work, we find another dog, and eventually, we have the best partnership and forever. And it's really nice to see how it changes, like I said, not just the veteran, but the families as well.
Now, Bonnie, speaking of families, I know that you also have a lot of furry kids, I like to call them. I call my 4 dogs my furry kids. And I see you have one there on your lap who almost looks like a sweet little stuffed animal toy, so gentle. Introduce us.
This is Miss Liberty Bell, and she is one of the actually rescued beagles from the Ridgeland Farms labs. And so I rescued her and her sister, Millie. And so she's living here on the ranch. And as you can see, she's like almost basically falling asleep. But she's got her little patriotic bandana on. And like I said, there's nothing like a dog that's been rescued. It's almost like they know that you saved them.
They really absolutely do. It's like a lot of my friends say, adopt, don't shop, because there are so many dogs out there that need homes. Bonnie-Jill Laflin and beautiful Miss Liberty Bell, lucky girl. Thank you both so much, and happy 4th to both of you.
Same to you. Thank you so much for having me.
And coming up, how one traveler's layover turned into the trip of a lifetime. That when the record continues. Stay right there.
Hey, I'm Carl Higby from Newsmax. Look, I'm unapologetically pro-American, and honestly, this is the one place that lets me call it how it is. I'm not holding back. I'll give it to you straight every single night.
Muddy paws, dirty shoes, and endless cleaning? Are your floors always dirty no matter how many times you clean? Now there's a simple solution. Meet Muddy Mat, the ultra-absorbent microfiber chenille mat that keeps your dog's paws so clean. It's like they're wiping them at the door. Muddy Mat is designed with thousands of advanced ultra-soft microfibers that are 5 times more absorbent than ordinary doormats.
My floors have never been so clean. I mean, both Ruby and Blue came in covered in mud, and this anti-mud mat left their paws sparkling. They step across it just once and it completely makes their paws completely clean of mud. This is the best mat I've ever found, and we have tried many. There is still a sale going on. I wouldn't wait too long before they're gone.
Call or go to trymuddymat.com or scan the QR code to claim your 70% off and your free muddy mat. What are you waiting for? Call or go to trymuddymat.com or scan the QR code and get your own muddy mat today.
Stop buying generic Viagra if you're over 60. You qualify for 9 tablets of 100 milligram generic Viagra for just $7 with free shipping from Friday Plans. I thought it was a scam, but I tried it and I'm so glad I did. All you need to do is go to FridayPlansVIP.com and fill out a quick online form. It took me under 2 minutes, and their licensed doctor approved me for a free prescription the same day. They even included free 3-day discreet shipping right to my door. I tried my first tablet, and within 30 minutes, it was working as well as the name brand. My wife can't stop smiling, and I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Go to FridayPlansVIP.com and see for yourself. I still can't believe I got 9 tablets of 100 milligrams generic Viagra for just $7. It's the best $7 I've spent in years. Don't miss out on this deal. My only regret is waiting so long. Go to FridayPlansVIP.com now.
If you've been in an accident that wasn't your fault, well, your favorite attorney has a message for you. Collision, calamity, catastrophe? Are you innocent, faultless, above reproach? If you want money, you need an attorney. You need a bulldog. But finding one, it's laborious, it's strenuous, it's stupefying. That's why you gotta call the number on your screen now. They'll help you connect to a legal expert. You have questions, they have answers. They know the legalese, the lingo, the jargon, and the argot. They'll even tell you how much money your case could be worth. $300,000, $2 million, $86,491, all sorts of numbers. Slip and falls, work accidents, car, truck, bus, motorcycle, motorbike, e-bike, tandem bike. These bulldogs will make sure people pay. And if you don't get paid, the attorneys don't get paid, and I don't get paid. So I compel you, I implore you, I beseech you to pick up that phone and call now to see what your case could be worth.
800-815-9616.
Your house might not be a mansion, but it still deserves a $19 pro home cleaning. Your cleaner will scrub everything from your toilet to your stovetop. Your whole place will be vacuumed and dusted. Honestly, you might think the price is too good to be true, but once you try it, you'll never go back to cleaning the house yourself. Pick a date, choose your cleaner, and book your first cleaning today for only $19.
Well, traveling can be absolutely exhausting, right? So what's one way to make it a little bit more fun? I don't know, try winning a couple $1 million at the airport. This traveler named Anthony did just that. He had a layover at Harry Reid International Airport in Vegas, of all places. He placed a $10 bet on a slot machine inside the airport, and then, well, he hit the jackpot. His prize was more than $3 million. And of course, the saying goes, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but the good news is none of his jackpot will stay in Vegas. Why? Because Nevada does not tax lottery winnings. He will have to pay a 24% tax to the federal government, but the rest is his to keep. That will be more than $2.5 million. That's good news. Thanks for watching. Christina Bobb fills in for Ed Henry next. Happy
information, truth is freedom, is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.